Hi, folks. This is get ready for a completely unserious review of the OneNote Nord N100 phone. This is basically the cheapest Google phone you can get. And I didn't get it because I wanted to. I got it because when LG announced they stopped making phones, T-Mobile got rid of all of them with the quickness. And I could not get a third LG Stylo phone. So be it. The first thing you're going to notice is that this is like the tallest phone I think I've ever seen in my life. No, it's not. Immediately, I remembered in 2013 when I sold phones, they had some that were like probably like another inch on top of this, and they were huge, and they looked like tiny tablet, but they were phones. But I'm not quite used to this. Not yet, anyway. I got it a few days ago. You'll notice that the back is plastic. You hear that? That's plastic. So again, these are not made with super high quality materials, but we do get it looks like three cameras. I believe other reviews say that it's four. And honestly, the cameras are not great. The front facing one is better than the back, but to be fair, I have an iPhone that I can't put on the network. Otherwise, I would just have used that one. I have that to take pictures with for eBay if I need to. So this is more of an annoyance than anything else. You're going to tap the screen. One thing I could do is the return of wake on tap. Okay, yeah, see, there you go. You got wake on tap there, and I like the screen actually. It's nice and clear. You're gonna notice one thing. Let me log in for. Let me sign. Okay, that's another thing. I tap on the phone super quickly, and this thing lags quite a lot. And like this thing is semi new out of the box. I got it on Wednesday, not Wednesday. I got it on Tuesday. It is lagging like it's about 8 or 9 years old here. Come on, Google. The one thing you're gonna notice that if you look at the top here, right above, I probably have to turn this light off. I'm sorry. We're working on it. If you look at the top here, there is a camera. There's the front facing camera, and you can actually do something where it kind of acknowledges that and places the top bezel around it. Let me see if I can find it for you, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep talking. They do have all these apps in the tray like that. I don't necessarily care for that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care for it. So I think we're going to work on just putting them all above the grade. The phrase is not above the grade, it's above the line. Okay. So you're going to see here advanced in the front facing camera display, and when I hit show the front camera, okay, that should be easier for you to see. So when I hit show the front camera here, you're not going to be able to see it, but you see how it kind of jumped up and the camera is now kind of in line with the bezel and all the other notifications in the notification shade at the top there. I don't really care for that. I mean, this thing is super big already. Just I don't need all that screen space. And you're like, why'd you get this if you didn't want screen space? I'm like, because this is like the cheapest phone, and I'm not on my phone all the time. Again, instead of complaining about everything, I do super like how once you get used to the screen space, it's not super bad. I do have to complain a little bit about some of the permissions. Now, the permissions might have been the same on the LG. I should actually look and double check. But when I had to attach my Galaxy Buds here, they wanted access to something that had nothing to do with the buds, and I can't tell if that's simply invasive marketing or not invasive marketing, but invasive programming and configuration by Samsung, or if it's something with Google. Speaking of Google, because this is their phone, let me tell you why it took me 20 minutes to actually get this wallpaper back up. And I'm going to have a link to where you can find the wallpaper in the description. I had it saved on my other phone. I decided to use Bluetooth to just simply send the link over so that in sending the link over, you'd think that this phone would simply open it in Google Drive because that's where all of these wallpapers are. But no, I sent it from the LG to this phone and it hit the link, and instead of opening in Google Drive, it did open, but it just kind of never loaded. And then when I said, let me make sure I actually have Google Drive installed, and I did not, that's on me. And I installed it and I opened the link again. And I want you to guess what happened. Just guess. It took about another 5 minutes before I realized, okay, Google can't get their own proprietary software to work on their own proprietary phone. That's real great. I'm so glad I bought this, right? So I basically had to log into Instagram again, which is not something I wanted to do. And when I did that, I don't remember my password because I don't use Instagram a lot. Sometimes, not a lot. And when I did that, you know how they will send you a login code? Well, Instagram never sent that to me. Right. So thankfully, I was still logged in on my other phone, so I just used the backup codes they have, which is a smart idea because I guess they can't depend on their own code sending service, which these FANG companies are not doing a hot job, are they? So eventually, I did get the screen save, the wallpaper I wanted. So I wanted to come back to the size for a minute here. You can kind of see in the background here, I got some stuff here. Look how tall this is in relation to a Funko Pop. That's crazy. Look how tall this is in relation to. Give me a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna whip out some Playline dolls here. Look how tall this is in relation to a Monster High doll. I mean, if you kind of ignore the 2-inch heels, that's insane. It's almost as tall as a doll. This is so funny. Okay, here's something else I can like. Ooh, wait. Let's see how tall it is in relation to my ergonomic mouse. Hmm. This is about the size of an iPhone, I'd say. I have an iPhone 8. This is kind of in that range. So, one other thing I kind of dislike is that for something that brags about having such a great battery, I took it off. I took it off power. I took it off charging, and it went from 100 to like 97 in about 5 minutes. Don't brag about your charging if it's going to do that. I also turned off Wi-Fi, and now battery saver. I turned battery saver on. It's telling me I have 5 days, 2 hours, and 27 minutes left. Which, okay, great. I don't charge my phones all that often because I kind of misplaced them. Let's talk about what I like about this phone. This might be a while. There are things I like. Ah, I like the fact that there are. Much as I talk about the Google Suite, I do like how it gave me a YouTube music trial. I can't play any music because this video will get flagged, but I actually did not know that Google had a podcast app until about 2 or 3 days ago. And so it's a lot handier for me to just log into Google and just fire up the podcast app and put all that stuff I like on there. So it prevents me from logging into Spotify, which I don't remember my password because password manager and I don't have LastPass on this phone. Sometimes the larger screens are helpful. I have several ebooks on here. Let me show you the text of one, I suppose. Look at, you may not be able to see that. Look at that. Look how much reading you can do with all that. We're just gonna look through it together, okay? Oh, another thing. I can't quite show it to you yet, but if you ever have this D Scout app, which is basically how I make money these days because education and degrees don't matter, it actually looks really nice for the larger screen resolution. Like it was completely dying on my LG phone, and the fact that I used that to make most of my money, multiple streams of income, it really needed to work. So I am kind of glad I got this because it looks a lot nicer. It reacts much quicker. I should have bought a couple others. Look, there's a notes app. There's no stylus. There's no stylus, you know. But it kind of didn't bother me because despite really liking the LG Stylo line, I never really used that stylus. I can count on one hand in like 3 years all the times I've taken it out and written a note. Oh, that's right. One other thing I really like about this. This is a great option. Screen recorder. Whenever I'm fiddling around with an whenever I'm fiddling around with an app and it happens to stop working, I can literally just screen record this, drag the file to my computer, and share it with them on Twitter or in an email. That's really going to help my consulting business get off the ground where I can tell you errors in your product. And then you can hire me to find more errors in your product and pay me money. Hmm. Uh, One other app I'm going to have to install, and I just kind of realized that, is Fitbit, maybe. Yeah, I'll install that one of these days. Oh yeah, another thing is it just like I think this is 90% of phones these days. I can't snap this back piece off and take out the battery if it starts wanting to act off the wall. When it starts acting up, I usually just take the battery out of something and let it rest for a moment and put it back in. Can't do that. I hate that. It's like, oh yeah, there's oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I might not be able to take the battery out, but I can put a headphone jack in right there. That's another point in your favor. That's 2 to 5. Good job. Apparently, there's just like a lot of videos on. Okay, not sure. It is pulling. It does. I also can put an SD card in, and I think if I remember correctly, the default storage for this is I think it's 64 gigabytes. Yep, internal storage 64 gigabytes. My SD card is 30. I gotta clean it up, and I got drive, and oh, look, just talking, just having the phone on for like 5 minutes talking about all of this. It took my power down 1%. LG, I miss you. That's all I'm gonna say.